Hi, I'm Margaret. Today, I'm going to plant a mini dwarf apple tree in a container. So I want you to go through the steps with me and see a mini dwarf. Yes, you can grow it in a container. Let's do that. So I got this cute little mini dwarf tree. It's an Akani, that's the variety. And the information I have says that it's a mini dwarf, perfect for containers. That's what I'm going to do. Now, the mature height is like 8 to 10 feet. Now, when I look at the rootstocks that are available for dwarfing, there is one like an M26. There are some other ones. I'm not sure what the rootstock is on this, but I want to tell you something here. The rootstock is what determines the height of the mature tree. Now you can see here from the ground to right here is where the graft was onto the rootstock. The rootstock is what determines the height of the tree and will be the dwarfing factor on that. What I'm going to do is plant this so that eventually the graft union right here is about 2 inches above the soil level. These rootstocks are kind of important to know. There is, I think, an M9 or an M26, and that's what I think I have based on the information that's on the tag. And that'll give me a tree that's 8 to 10 feet tall at maturity or 8 to 12 feet tall at maturity. Of course, I can prune it down if I want it to be a little bit smaller. And the neat thing about dwarfing rootstocks is that so that you can treat the apples, you can harvest the apples, you can do your pruning very easily. No ladders or step ladders involved, probably not involved. There is also a super dwarfing rootstock that'll give you a tree that's like 4 to 6 feet tall. So if you really want something small, you would go and look for that. That might be a little hard to find, but I'm glad I found this one. So I'm going to go ahead and plant my little mini dwarf Akani apple in the container where I have it placed. At this point in the season, the tree has really developed its own little root ball in the soil, and while the soil may fall away a little bit, it's not going to fall away a lot. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this fiber pot. Don't need that in here. I'm going to take that out, and then I'm going to look along the side to where I might see roots. I don't want them to be circling around here. I might just take a tool and rough that up a little bit, get it the right height in the right depth in the container, and then go ahead and fill on the side. You can see that there are some of the roots that are right there. We're right on the edge of the fiber pot. So I'm roughed that up so that they will be encouraged to go out into this other area of the pot, of the container. Now I'm going to go ahead and backfill and fill around the side here with my potting medium. So there I've got my little Akani apple tree, my mini dwarf, in its container. Now the container is about 18 inches across. It could be a little bit larger, and this will just remind me that in a few years I may need to take the tree out when it's dormant, so in the winter, before it starts to bud out, and do some root pruning, unless at that time I have a larger container for it to go in, or maybe a place in the ground where it could be a more permanent position. But that is really nice. Now you notice that I left the stake in there, and I am going to leave that stake as a stabilizer for the tree as it's growing. And then I'm going to give it a little water and enjoy that little Akani apple that's joined my tiny little orchard here. Great. Now, one other thing. It's going to need like about 8 hours of sun, 6 to 8 hours of full sun. And I have this flowering cherry that's right overhead. So early in the day, it's not going to get sun, but probably from noon on, it'll be in full sun. I think that's okay, and if not, you know what? It's in a container, so I can relocate it. Well, there we go. That did not take very long. It's nice if you can have somebody help you, you know, with moving the pot around or the container around, especially if it already has fruit set on it. You want to maintain the apples or the fruit that's on there. Anyway, so for a mini dwarf or a one that's going to go in a container, look for a full dwarfing rootstock. So if you can find out what that's going to be, check it out. But the height of the mature tree will probably also give you a hint as to what the rootstock might be. Great. I hope you're able to enjoy something like that. And you know, they also have columnar apple trees that just grow in a column, and I have one of those. And you can prune it to the height that you want that to be in, so it doesn't spread out and make the branches don't go out from the side, you know, more than like maybe a foot, 18 inches. So if you have a small space, a columnar tree might be a handy one. Also think about pollinators for your tree. I would check a chart that will tell you when, you know, what a good pollinator is for your apple tree that you're selecting, and then also what trees yours might be a good pollinator for. I have 3 other apples, and there are apples in my neighborhood too, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to get good pollination in the future. Well, plant an apple tree or another kind of little dwarf fruit tree. It's kind of fun to bring fruit into your garden, even on a patio or a deck, a small lanai, small area like that. It can be done. Well, there's always more to learn in the garden. Bye-bye.